Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm happy to be here on this high school, and I will tell you why, on this very auditorium here. I prefer the stage. My name is Aris Cedeno, and I am the Executive Director of the Governor's Scholars Program. Now, you guessed from my accent that I was not born in Kentucky. But I came to Louisville to work at the University of Louisville. We have been in the news today. Yeah. I don't work at U of L anymore, but that's what I came to do via Michigan State. I'm originally from Panama in Central America. Came to the States to study at Michigan State. And when I finished my degree, the University of Louisville hired me to teach there. In 1991, so that's 26 years ago, that very first semester at the university, I found a flyer to apply to teach in a summer program called Governor's Scholars Program. I had no idea, but I needed summer money. And so I applied to teach, and I was hired. I was sent at that time to a campus called Murray State University. If you know where Murray State University is, you have to drive 4 hours from Louisville. And so I drove my 4 hours, and when I got out of my car on that campus, the dean of the campus looked at my puzzled face and said, "Aris, it's not the end of the world." And I said, "Certainly it's not the end of the world, but you can see it from here." After those 6 weeks at Murray State, I just loved the Governor's Scholars Program. Over the years, I continued my association teaching in the program, became a campus director, and most recently, about 10 years ago, I was appointed executive director, and I resigned my tenure post at the University of Louisville to do this on a full time. I have to tell you a story for those of you, particularly from this high school. In the summer of 1992, Governor's Scholars, I had a very small class. I taught Spanish language and culture. And I had one student from Nelson County. At the time, we only had one high school in public school here in Bardstown. We had Bethlehem, Bardstown, but public schools we only had. And I had students from here. After the summer, that student, her name, and I remember her very well, is Natalie Vaughn. Natalie invited me to visit this particular school. So this was the first high school, actually the first auditorium where I was able to dance. And I mean dance, because I used to teach ballroom dancing and particularly focus on Spanish, Hispanic dances. And so I came to here, and I was asking Fiona, one of the guidance counselors here, if she remembered two of the Spanish teachers that had me dance here with all the students. So those are very much fun memories related not only to my first year in Kentucky, but also to my association with the Governor's Scholars. So it gives me a tremendous pleasure, and I want to thank the high school, the district, and those of you from Bethlehem and Bardstown's high schools for coming tonight. We do this on a regular basis in September and October. This is the third one that I do this week. I was at Murray State this past Monday, then I went to Muhlenberg County High School, and now I'm here. It is important to do these things, and this is what we are going to do tonight. Number one, we are here to congratulate all of you. You have been invited to come to this session because you are well qualified to apply and compete to become a 2018 Governor's Scholar. You have done a lot. That is not enough. Doing the things is not enough. You have to be able to explain all what you have done to the judges. And second thing we are going to do here is talk to you about the competitive, very competitive selection process for which you have received, for those explanations, you have received a packet of information called, we name it helpful hints. I am not going to go over page by page, but I'm going to give you specific hints and to encourage you to apply. And then if you decide to apply and compete, you know how to compete well. And third, we want to talk, and we do this with the parents and school administrators so that we explain to all of you what we create on our campuses. We create home away from home. It is a 5-week program. It is a 5-week program away from home. And some of you may know something about the program. Some of you may still be hesitant about those 5 weeks. But for some of you, it's not soon enough to go away for 5 weeks to what we call an extraordinary experience. Now, I am very passionate about the program, and I will tell you that I am. Keep in mind that I resigned my tenure, permanent post at U of L to do this. I'm not even a state employee anymore because we are not a state agency, we are a non-for-profit organization that receives state funding. And so, but it is so wonderful to work with students like the ones that I have here sitting from this past summer, and all of you potential Governor's Scholars. As I said, the program is 5 weeks. The requirements, I'm going to talk about a few things in the very beginning of this packet. On page 1, you have the requirements, and you know you're a junior in a high school in Kentucky. You are a resident of the state of Kentucky. You are not skipping your senior year, and you must have taken the ACT, the SAT, or the PSAT, one of those 3. There is no minimum required. The higher, of course, you get more points. We'll talk about that, but there is no minimum required. Those are the minimum qualifications to begin your application. On page 2, at the bottom of page 2, you have a framed information. It's framed. It says, briefly, in few words, that if you apply and you're accepted into the program and you, in turn, accept our invitation to join us in the summer, you sign a learning contract. There is no money associated with that contract because the program is free of charge. Of course, many people, when we say it's free of charge, don't believe us because we tend to think that in America, we don't have free lunches. A few years ago, during the opening day of one of our campuses, I was talking to the parents while the students were being introduced to the residence hall. And one father raised his hand and said, Aris, how is the food? And I said, it's free. What else can I say, right? Your taste and my taste and the taste of those kids are totally different. But the real thing is that we receive about 75% funding from the state and about 25% funding from private resources. And so we put together these 5 weeks for you to have an extraordinary community. The program, yes, it takes classes and so on, and we'll talk about those things, but the program accepts approximately, and this is our goal for next summer. You have to understand that we still have to go through budget process in the state, which is beginning very soon. But we hope, and we are very confident, that we can continue our numbers. We are announcing for next summer the same numbers that we announced for the last 2 summers, and that is 1,060 students. 1,060 students that will come from 120 counties of Kentucky. Goal number 1, all Kentucky's counties will be represented. At what level, we don't know yet. The level of representation truly is in your hands. We will tell the schools how many they can send based on the junior population of the schools and the districts to the state level, but it is extremely competitive. And so the best applications will be the ones selected. Keeping in mind the following. Don't worry, I don't fall. I used to be in drama. You know, sometimes it makes nervous some people that I'm gonna fall, so I'm gonna go behind. Keeping in mind the following. When you compete for any competition, for instance, you compete to go to college, you may not know this yet, but you compete with students that come with grades that represent the A's, the B's, the C's, and the D's, and sometimes some F's. In this competition, everybody has done outstanding work. So it's not that you have not. In this competition, what truly counts is how you present yourself. Because we are talking about a mission to enhance Kentucky's next generation of civic and economic leaders. Those are you. But if we consider, I don't use this phrase very much, but many people out there use the phrase, governor scholars are the best and the brightest. I avoid the phrase a lot, but let's use it at this moment. If you are the best and the brightest, it is not a title only. You know better and you understand very well that it is how you present yourself. So the application, presentation, and how you do that, we're going to talk about that, is extremely important. It's not the grade only. It is not the grade only. And you will see the breakdown of these applications and how it is that you have to present yourself. But we are very passionate, and in your high schools, you have a few students here and there that were governor scholars, either in 2017. Some of your teachers may have been governor scholars. Some members of your community are also governor scholars. There are parents in the community that are governor scholars or had children in the program. I invite all of you to talk to others, not only to listen to me. I have 4 of them here. We sent out an invitation, and 4 of them took our call and said we will come and help. So I'm going to bring them to recognize them as well. So if you join me on stage, young ladies and gentlemen here. These students, come on. These students attended the program this past summer. They are the best ambassadors. They even tell you much better things than I will tell you, because they will tell you things from their own perspective at that age. I am 62. So, you know, at 62, what else can I tell you? I'm already way beyond your age, but you all keep me very young, because working with these wonderful students every year, the beauty of my job is that I feel like a 17-year-old every year, and I go back to 17. It's wonderful. I'm telling you, working with you is any teacher, any professor's dream, because it is all the best. So hold the applause as I recognize all these wonderful students here. Olivia Taylor Hagen, Erin Brooke Hardin, Jordan Dixon, who does not have a certificate, he has a piece of paper here. Because he just showed up. He knows that we'll send him one, but for now, a piece of paper. And Kendall Blake Roller. Please help me congratulate them. I wish I had the time to ask all of them to speak, but we have asked Kendall to say a few words on behalf of the 2017 class of Governor Scholars. You want to speak here?
Hello everyone, my name is Kendall Roller. I am a senior at Thomas Nelson High School, and I am a 2017 Governor Scholar. So I would first like to begin by addressing the application process that a lot of you are about to begin your journey upon. So looking upon the application, it's very lengthy, as you can tell. I would really like to encourage you to use the helpful hints packet that was given to each one of you as you walked in today. Use that for your benefit. Read through it, read the sample responses for each, the service, the extracurriculars, and the awards. Read those examples. Try to put everything you have inside of you onto that application. Anything you've done, whether you think it relates at all, if you've done anything outside of school, it can go on that application. Because these judges are trying to see who you are, and they're trying to see if you meet, if you excel and can be Kentucky's next generation of civic and economic leaders, and I know you all can be. So put everything into that application, because it is worth it. The GSP experience, as all of these guys can tell you, and there are more in your schools, is something that is like no other experience. Your summer after your junior year, for me, has been a summer that's changed my life. The friends I've met, the teachers I've had, your RAs, the leader of your seminar, these are people that have inspired me to do bigger and better things in my future. I have my seminar leader. He is a student at UK, and we still speak on a day-to-day basis about anything that's going on in my life, whether it is my plans for college, or my faith, or just how life is going. He's someone I can look up to and someone I can see, and he's a role model for me, and I met him through this amazing experience. So I encourage all of you to apply. Another thing, talk to your teachers now about getting letters of recommendation. You don't want to put that on them at the last second. Think ahead, because teachers can only write so many, and if you want a good one, then you ask them ahead. You give them all the resources they need, but do your part. You've done everything in your life, but prior to this, now it's just time to put it on paper and show these judges who you are, so that you get selected to participate in this amazing program that I had the chance to be a part of. So congratulations for having the courage to be here tonight, and good luck in the process.
Thank you very much, Kendall. Let's talk about the application process. I'm going to say a few words about classes. You don't get grades, you don't get academic credits, and therefore, you don't have to take a class in which you already excel in high school or that you are going to have in college. If you are going to be an engineer in college and you already know it, you can sign up for engineering, but that is not the mission of the program. It is not about the classes. It is about helping you grow your potential as leaders in whatever subject you are going to specialize, whether in the medical field, in education, in religious services, in any field that you are going to specialize. So don't think too much about, I want really to do engineering, I really want to do healthcare industry, or if you think that drama is wonderful, take it, please. It's much better to have a few more males in drama. We'll be very happy to assign many more of you to drama. We are not the governor's school for the arts, but we have some arts also. Whatever classes suit you, I am going to give you a hint. You choose your 3 classes. We guarantee you that if you are accepted, you will be given one of your 3 choices. You can only check 3. However, hint here, don't select the classes because your best friend selected those classes. The fact is that the number of students accepted from the same high school will be divided among our 3 campuses as equally as possible, and you will not be in the same classroom. Each classroom will have 19 students maximum from 19 different high schools, and most likely not even from your same district, except Jefferson County, because it's impossible for us not to have at least 2 Jefferson counties in some classes. But you are not going to be in the same dormitory hall. You may be on the same campus. The purpose is for each one of those 1,060 to have an experience that is unique to him or to her. You may share the same class with somebody else and the dorm with somebody else here, but at the end of the day, there will be 1,060 different schedules in a way, or different classrooms, or whatever it is. Nobody will be exactly like you. Even though we create a community of scholars, the individuality of each of you will be respected as well. So sign up for classes that perhaps you want to explore only. One student told me a few years ago in a letter, after he had taken agribusiness, as he was telling me in his letter, Arish, I was placed in the cow class because we went to see the cows, and I had never seen the cows. I always thought that the milk was coming out of a carton in a Kroger. He said all that. And today, what he does is farming. Many people you heard in the video, some of our alumni saying, the Governor Scholars Program changed the trajectory of my life. Some of you are looking for answers, academic answers, social answers, intellectual answers, and we'll be putting together classes, showcase with like a talent show, convocation speakers, a lot of field trips, but most likely you will be immersed in a community with 350 or so other Governor Scholars and about 50 members of the personnel, administrative, faculty, and residential that will be there with you creating a wonderful community of scholars. So don't worry about what class you take. On page 6, you have the timeline. Your application begins in your high school. And each high school will have to tell you when the deadline is for you. Nelson County High School and Thomas Nelson compete at the school and then at the district, and the district will have to tell the schools what are those deadlines. Bardstown High School competes on its own, and the school will send directly to the state competition. Bethlehem is part of the Catholic Diocese. Actually, my staff met with the guidance counselors, Rita knows this past week in the Catholic Diocese. And so Bethlehem is part of another district. And you compete in the school, and then you compete, and you follow those deadlines. I want to focus at the bottom of page 6 on the 3 sessions. Next summer we have 3 sessions. We stagger our campuses. Not only to, in a way, separate you from your friends, not only that, but also you cannot, as a general rule, you cannot select what campus you attend unless you have a very valid reason. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Some of you may be members of the school marching band, for instance, or any team that requires that you attend a mandatory camp at the end of the summer. If that is your situation, most likely you will request session number 1, so you get out of Governor Scholars directly going to your mandatory camp. Another example, if you and your parents, or you by yourself with your church, you have a mission trip scheduled, or a trip organized, academic trip organized by the school, and you do that at the beginning of the summer, you may be able to request sessions number 2 or number 3. What cannot happen, because we have many students normally waiting in the wing to get in, alternates, what cannot happen is for you to arrive late or depart earlier. It is a commitment of 5 weeks. And understand that that is not to punish anybody. Leaders like yourself are going to face, this is the first lesson you will face in life, choices. We have choices. Not everybody has that. You have a lot of good choices. Of course, the GSP is an extraordinary choice, but if you have conflicts, you will have to decide which choice, and that's a lesson for life. The application process is comprised of 100 points distributed as indicated on page 7. 30 points for your academic achievement. Only 30 points. Understand that if you have a 4.0 GPA, you only get 15 points. If you have an ACT very high, you get up to 10. And your difficulty of course load assessed by your guidance counselor and your school up to 5. It's 30 points. You can have all those 30 points. But I'm going to tell you that this is the easy part for you. A lot of the students, a lot of the 2,000 students that reach the state level competition for the 1,060 spot have a lot of these points. So when mom and dad, we love you, mom and dad. But when you call us and say, my son is a 4.0, I'm going to tell you, I have many of those. The difference comes in the next sections. The sections that are truly under your control for this competition. Section A, meaning academic achievement, you have already done it. You already have that merit. Otherwise, you would not be here today. Let's talk about these coming sections. Extracurricular activities, service, honors, a writing entry, and 2 recommendations. And I'm going to focus on a few hints related to those sections. Each of these coming 3 sections, extracurriculars, service, and honors, in this packet you will find samples, examples, you will find the instructions, and you will find here also the rubric that the judges will use. Let me explain to you the difficulty of our judges and how, so that you understand when you present your case, why you have to be so detailed. At the state level, there is no one single judge that sees the entire application. When your application comes to us, we'll break it in all those 6 sections. And 3 judges only will read your writing entry. And they do that across the board. And that's all what they do. 3 judges will read the recommendation from the teachers across the board. And that's all what they do. 3 judges for the recommendation in the community. 3 judges for extracurricular, 3 for honors, and 3 for service. At the end, we add all the scores, and nobody sees the entire application. That makes it more difficult for you to achieve 100 points. And in fact, I would have asked all the scholars here before, they don't know their scores because the score is not going to be the important thing. The highest score that I have ever seen in the Governor Scholars Program is 86. Do the students know that? No. And for you, I saw some faces like, 86 is failing. Who cares? Who cares? If we judge you based only on academics, everybody is going to make 99, 90 and above, okay? Or even beyond that in some cases, I think. But that's the point. You need not to concentrate your efforts in the numbers of points. If you write a wonderful application, you will get the points. This past summer, and some of the guidance counselor, Ms. Brown knows this, and Rita and others, Julia. This past summer, the cutoff line to get in or not for females, this is not a co-ed program. We accept more females because that reflects the number of applications. About 60% of the applications that we receive are females, and about 40%, and that's the number that we accept. 60% females, 40% males. The females, because they have more in the competition, the deadline, the cutoff line was 70, Jenny, 72, right? Yeah. Right, 72. 72 was anybody 72 and above was in. Is that a C? Who cares? Really, we don't look at those things because you are all already high achievers. Males, your cutoff line was 71. And it's not that we prefer males over females. It is that we have to do a contract with the universities ahead of time for the number of beds that we can have in the male dorms and in the female dorms. And so that's 60% and 40%. And so there may be one male in your high school who is at 71 and can make it faster than a 72 female, okay? But it's not, you're not competing for the same beds, because mom and dad, you will not be happy if I place them mixed, you know what I mean? So you understand my point and my dilemma. Therefore, these comment sections are extremely important. And you need to notice, as Kendall pointed out, at the detail of the examples. On pages 9 to 11, no, 13 to 19, sorry, 13 to 19, you have samples, examples, the rubric, and so on for extracurricular activities. A couple of things here. Important hints. The judges here will need to see not only in what activity you have been involved, but what is your role, your leadership role, how much versatility plays into who you are. Kendall used one phrase when he spoke here. For us and for our judges, who you are, that we gather from your descriptions, who you are is more important than all what you do. Some people will tell us, I need to reach 100 numbers here. It's not. It's a combination. It's a combination. It is a combination of quantity, quality, and pace or frequency. Quantity, quality, and frequency. You can do 100 things once. Then the frequency here, it's low. The quantity is high. So it's a combination of quantity, quality, that is your in detail involvement, as you explained, and frequency. It's a combination. The judges want to see your leadership even, and please say it. Let the judges determine later if it's important or not. Some of you will be humble. We go to church sometimes, and the pastor and the minister, the priest says, we have to be humble. Yes, we have to be humble, but not in this competition. Please, 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 and don't share that with them. I tell my priest all the time that, my students are not going to be humble. Don't worry. You have to say it if you have done it. And one more thing here. Mom and dad, you promise that you are going to help. I hear from parents sometimes, well, I let my son and my daughter handle that because I want to teach independence. Let me tell you one thing, that's great. But you, mom and dad, have spent your life in the bleachers clapping for them. You remember because you were proud when they got the award, they don't. You know what it means. And you, the young leaders here, are going to allow mom and dad to do that. My father gave me a lot of independence, a lot. I was such a great student, I guess, that he told the teachers, I'm not coming to pick up the report card. The teachers will hand the report card to me until I cheated in the report card. There was one in the last semester. I knew if I was changing the report card, it was not going to be changed in the school, so it doesn't really matter. This is my thinking, okay? So I had a 3.8. 3.8 in Panama is not a good grade because it's based on 5, not on 4. So 3.8 in English. Can you imagine that? My English was never good and I knew that. So I changed it oddly enough, a 3 with an old China ink, tried to do a 4, and it was like a big hole when I tried to erase that thing. And I still, for 2 weeks, told my mother and my father that the teacher had done that. Until my aunt, who was teaching in the high school, said to my mother, the teachers cannot do that. And so my mother pressed and my father pressed until I confessed. That's part of the independence. Up until that day, no more independence. And I appreciate all those things. I'm telling you, we appreciate the parents giving us a lot of independence, but here, please allow them to help too. Extracurricular activities. We define extracurriculars as anything you do beyond the classroom walls or related to academics or school. Anything you do. We want to see how you occupy your time. And believe me, you are busy. You must be doing a lot of things and you sometimes don't think it's important. Say it, our advice, say it, and let the judges decide if it's important or not. It may be even more important than what you think. Next section, service. Service is a section on pages 20 to 24. 20 to 24. Service. How we define service. Service is anything you do to help others, whether you are paid or you do it voluntarily. Anything you do to help others, whether you are paid for or, meaning you work. When you work, you help yourself, you help your family, and so on, and it builds character. But if you volunteer also, and remember, service, it's a lot more than what you think. Now, from our experience, we know that the students today will feel that this is their weakest section. And it may be, I don't think so, but it may be in your mind today. If you feel like that, an advice is for you to pick up the telephone and call an organization that needs volunteers. There are plenty around. Volunteer at the animal shelter if you like animals. Organize an event for the kids, the little kids in your street for Christmas. Organize an angel tree. Or join efforts with other members of your community to provide meals during the Thanksgiving season to the elderly in certain communities. There are plenty of things, trust us. There are plenty of organizations that if you call them, they will tell you. Organizations that put together events need a lot of help. And you can just volunteer. Do that, and you are showing, just by volunteering, you are showing leadership. Service in the community, service to the family, service to the church, any kind of service. Look, how many of you babysit? Raise your hand high, I can see. Look, males and females. Will you put that in the application? Absolutely yes. Mom and dad, you don't have to answer this question, but it helps a lot to have babysitters, right? And we know that. And by doing that, you're also building who you are. So please, everything that occupies the time, and if it's not important, it's not you who are going to decide how important it is. Let the judges be the deciding factor. On pages, let's see, 25 to 28, you have the section called Honors and Awards. Many of us, when we hear honors and awards, think in terms of awards. Awards are those that are recognized with a certificate, with a diploma, with a trophy. That's an award. How about honors? And many of you have even more honors than awards. I guarantee you that. If you are chosen, selected, or elected, it's an honor. Remember, chosen, elected, or selected is an honor. If you are chosen to sing the national anthem, and all what everybody does is clap for you, and then you walk away with no thank you from anybody else, no letter of recognition, no trophy, hey, it is an honor. It is an honor. If you are the member of your class chosen by the principal, the guidance counselor, or the teachers to represent the school at an important meeting in the town, one of those town meetings that we have, and you are there to represent your school, that is an honor. And sometimes you don't get a certificate for those things. Anything for which you have been elected, selected, or chosen. Those are the three sections that comprise the student profile. One more hint, and an important one, related to the three sections. Sometimes, in some occasions, you are going to find the need to write about the same activity in 1, 2, or 3 of those sections. You follow the instructions, but you have to mention it 3 times, following the instructions of that particular section. Let me give you some examples, and you will know exactly what I mean. If you are a member of an academic team, a team of any sports, marching band, anything related to teams or groups, organizations, as a member of that team or club or organization, you describe your role in the extracurricular section. Sometimes those teams and organizations take on fundraising to benefit a specific cause in the community. That part of that team is service to others. And if you happen to be chosen, selected, or elected to be an officer, to be the captain, and so on, that is an honor. And following the instructions for each of the sections, you may repeat the activity with different words as applicable to the respective section. This is something that you need to do now and when you apply to college. This is something you have to do now and when you apply to college. Make sure that you address all those things in the specific section. Another example, if you were chosen, look at the word, if you were chosen by the biology teacher, or by the foreign language teacher, or by the chemistry teacher, or mathematics teacher, to do peer tutoring with younger students in your high school, it's an honor. You were chosen. And because you are helping others through peer tutoring as service, and because it occupies your time beyond the classroom, it's an activity. And you will define the 3 sections, with the same activity, but you will use the words according to the section in which you are now writing. These 3 sections will be the strongest part of what you have to do. and the next one, but these three. My advice, before I move on to the other sections, is that from now on, if you make a decision to apply and write the application, and I hope you do, you're going to give yourself, or maybe the high schools they do that already, give yourself mini deadlines and say, by October 10, I will have written this. By October 20, I have the next section. By October 30, I have this, and so on. And give yourself an extra time before you have to turn the application in to revise, review, and catch any misspelling that you may have there. Let's talk about the writing entry. There are 3 pages here, 29, 30, and 31. 29 has the general instructions, 30 has the rubric, and please notice how detailed the rubric is for the judges here, and 31, the actual prompts. You choose one of those prompts. Those are the actual prompts for your competition. You choose one of those. Now, let me give you a couple of hints here. This is my area of expertise. I have a law degree. I don't work as a lawyer. My law degree background is in immigration law. I don't work as a lawyer. I chose to do my PhD in literary studies. And I have spent my life writing papers, doing all that stuff related to writing. Our judges are 3 very good writers. Some of them college professors in the past, some of them advanced in writing, with degrees, advanced degrees in writing. And some of the messages that they send here, that we have here, are from them. Let me share with you on page 31 what the judges say. At the top of page 31, there is a long paragraph there. And at the end of line 3, the judges send this message. Whichever topic you choose, be sure that your writing entry gives the reader a chance to learn more about you. It's about you. And I'm going to give you more hints regarding this. It is 500 words. 500 words seems, for somebody who talks a lot like me, not enough. We want always more because that's what happens. The judges will be seeing how able you are to concentrate the strong message in 500 words. Now, don't waste valuable space with long quotes. Quotes are great, but I can find them in the dictionary. I can find them, and most likely I've heard many of those quotes already. Use the quotes by paraphrasing your own opinion. We are more interested not in what Emerson said back in the late 18th century, although it's great, we're interested in your opinion about that idea. We are interested in your suggestions about what that author said. We are interested, remember, we will be looking at you, at your creativity, at your initiative, at your participation, at your willingness to become and continue becoming a leader in your life. So it is very important that we look at you. Tell us who you are. Don't begin the essay by saying what the Webster Dictionary says. It's useless. And most of the judges, now, this is for this competition. You may be taught by the teachers to do that in other competitions. We're talking about here. You're competing with the best of the best from everywhere. So make sure that if others say that, you don't. And check the spelling and double space. It breaks my heart when we have to tell mom and dad that you lost 2 points for not double spacing. And 2 points in a competition where 1/10 of a point makes a difference, 2 points is a lot. It is a lot. And it says there at the top of the rubric, 2 points for double spacing. That's a big gift if you follow the instructions. Spelling is based on standard English. I'm okay with texting, and I text, and I shorten the words in the text. But some of the judges have told me, when you talk to future governor scholars, tell them that the word you, as in you, spells Y-O-U. We have begun seeing some texting, and it's not that we are opposed to texting. We are not. But that's not standard English yet. Maybe in 10 years, 20 years, it will be changing, but not yet. Let's talk about the recommendations. We ask that you bring 2 letters of recommendation to this competition, and the samples and instructions and so on are for the teacher letter on 32 to 37, and for the community letter on 38 to 43. Let me talk to you about why we have 2 different letters. The judges overall want to see both sides of the same coin. On the one hand, we want to see one letter that speaks about you as a student, and that comes from the teacher. On the other side of the coin, we want to see a letter that speaks about you as a committed citizen in the community, not in the school. As a leader in the community, not in the school. All that brings who you are in the community. Most of you know who you're going to ask in the school. Obviously, you are more associated with the teachers. Some of you may find it difficult to find somebody in the community to recommend you. Advice. Look for somebody who knows you very well. If you have moved to Bardstown or Nelson County recently and you don't know, and the person you know is in another county or another state, that's acceptable. But it has to know you very well. It's not the title of the elected officials that counts. Some of the elected officials will tell us, Aris, I don't know this student very well, but I'm going to write the letter because I don't want to tell no to my constituencies. And that's true. They are not going to tell you no. If they know you well, fine. If they don't, if they only know well your father, your mother, the letter is not about you, mom and dad. It's about the student. Many letters talk about the relationship that they have built with the father, the mother, and the family overall. It's about the student. Okay? It's about the student. And ultimately, if you don't know, you can always call us and we brainstorm with you. If some of you work, if you work as a, in the public swimming pool, there may be coaches there that are not necessarily related to school. Why we say this? In the school, you have many wonderful people, but they know you as a student. And they are not going to be saying different things. Ultimately, if you cannot find somebody in the community, we'll brainstorm with you and help you, come up with a name that will help. One more thing about recommendations in general. How to ask for the letter. Some of you are very skillful, some of you are not, but you will learn. I have written many letters in my life, and I have come to understand that there are at least two different types of students when comes to asking for letters. Let's take, for instance, student A. Student A comes to see me face to face and asks for the letter of recommendation. Aris, can you recommend me to this program that I'm applying for? Yes. And the student says, you may not know much about this program, but here is some explanations about what that program is looking for. I also know that you may not know everything I am involved in. This half-page resume in what I have done in the last 3 years or so here. And I went in the website. It says that you can type it in the website, but I printed this form for you so you can familiarize yourself with the form. I asked the student, when is it due? And the student says, the 28th of October. That's a month from today. That's wonderful. I have the time and space and all the documents with me for when I'm going to write that letter. The other student, and this is a real case which I'm going to share with you, texted me one Monday night. The student sent me a text that said, they text me and they call me by my first name. Everybody calls me by my first name. And the student said, recommendation, not question mark, so I didn't know if he really was asking the question or was saying to me something. So I texted back quickly. It was a Monday night, and I said, when? I didn't put a question mark either. I guess he understood. Because immediately when I said when, the text that I got back was a big crying emoji. It has big tears, those tears emoji. And you know from that my wonderful student, whom I appreciated very much, was in trouble. So I pressed him a little bit more in the text and said, call me. And the student called and said, hello, Aris. And I said, tell me when. Pause. And when I said, when, he said, it's due tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm going to tell you that I write the letters. I don't let my students down. But I don't have enough time to write and do a good job. Because in the first case, I will focus my letter on the student. The second case, that student didn't know, and I told him, of course, after I wrote the letter the next day, you didn't know if I was having dinner with my family, you didn't know if I was writing a report for the principal, you didn't know if I was watching Monday Night Football. I don't, right? So I don't have TV, I don't have time for that, but still, you don't know it. And so I wrote the letter. The focus of that letter was the deadline. Not you, was the deadline, and you're lucky in those cases if your name comes across in all the spaces where your name is typed. Because sometimes it's Michael and says Robert, or Michael. And we have had judges in the past who call our office because they don't have more information and say, I have journal number, all of your applications will be given a journal number. So a judge says, I have journal number 1001. I am not judging this letter because the name over here says this and the names don't match. And the judge asked us, could you verify that for us? We went into the file of the student in our office and said, that is the middle preferred name of the student. What the judge, so the letter was a valid one, but the judges noticed those things. okay? And so be careful with letter of recommendation. You have examples. Share with your recommender the examples that we have shown you here, and so it will be helpful for you. That's in general the application process. Hey, Jenny, you can give me that. We are going to talk about two things here. We're going to talk about home away from home. This will not take long. And I will recognize all of you with a letter of encouragement from us to thank you for the generosity of your time and to let you know where you can find information and to let you know that we are available to help as well and answer questions. Home away from home. The program is 6 weeks, I'm sorry, 5 weeks is 6 for the teachers, 5 weeks. During those 5 weeks, yes, you take classes, yes, you have dorm activities, yes, you have extracurricular activities, yes, you can go to the gym, yes, you can use you cannot bring your computer, you know that, but you can use computers there. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. That's a rule. Some of you will not like that, but don't worry. Talk to your friends that attended the program. During those 5 weeks, mom and dad will ask this question. Medical circumstances. You have allergy shots. We are very familiar with those cases. There was 1 year, 2011, maybe 2010, on one of our campuses, I had a student that was under chemotherapy during the summer. So we placed the student at the most convenient campus so that the student could go to chemo and come back. And it was, the student was always wonderful. We had 1 year, I was trained as a teacher to deal with a quadriplegic that we had on campus because he was in my own class, and how to handle that and all that. We have had students with those difficulties. Allergy shots are just a routine thing that we can do every week. So don't worry about the medical circumstances. We'll be connected with the hospitals, with the 24-hour clinic, with the nurse on campus, or whatever facilities each of the campus has around them. We'll do that. Supermarket. Why do you need to go to the supermarket every day? I don't know. But we'll have supervised trips to the supermarket once or twice, depending on the week and depending on the campus. And then you can sign up and you will be supervised by the RAs and so on. You walk most likely to the supermarket, get your goodies and come back. We do supervise because the supermarket don't like high school students hanging around all the time. You know what I mean by that. They don't. Mom and dad, how about if they miss food from home? Or cookies, as I always say. You can send them cookies. I guarantee you, mom and dad, that as soon as you get home on opening day, you are going to the post office the next day to send something. 1 year, one of our campus directors on the Morehead State University campus was called by the post office. And they said, Charlie, his name is Charlie. Charlie, there's a package here for one of your students. We're not going to deliver this. It was a refrigerator. Mom and dad sent a refrigerator from home. Now, I'm telling you, mom and dad, what it takes for you to let your child go is that you have to send a refrigerator. Please, send it as big as you want. We'll pick it up. I always say this. Don't forget when you send cookies that Jenny and all her staff on that campus, that Aris and all my staff on whatever campus, we are on campus and we also like cookies. So please send some to us. It is a 5 weeks. You come on opening day, mom and dad, then you go home. Some of you will cry on your way home because you are not sad, you are proud. Even if you get homesick, and we are dealing with more homesickness from home than really homesickness from campuses. Even if you get homesick, let them go, please. We'll work with you. I'll come to your home, I promise, and we'll cry together. But it's very important that they finish the 5 weeks. Now, you come back to campus, mom and dad, 2 weeks later for family day. Then you go home and you know that now that they're much better and blah, 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 and you don't cry as much. 3 weeks later, you come for graduation. At the end of 5 weeks, you come for graduation. They cry. You don't trust that I'm saying the correct thing, but yes, they cry. Mom and dad don't understand why they are crying. Some will tell you, Mom, I don't want to go home. Look, take them home. After 5 weeks on that campus, right, Jenny, where the best and the brightest were still 17 years of age or so, we are ready to hit our own bed, okay? So take them home. We love them, but more than 5 weeks, too much. You can have them. Communication between home and campus will not be, you will not be completely at the hand of telephone, like, I can call my son now. No. And I'm going to tell you what happened. Sometimes, because you, the young leaders, get into a wonderful community with students like you, students that have the same dreams, students that are going to be your roommates in college, students that are going to be the leaders in your profession with you. You know that and you find out that very quickly. You think that after 5 weeks and you have to go back to your high school and back to your communities in West Kentucky or Central Kentucky or East Kentucky or South Central Kentucky, that you are never going to see them again. And so you focus on your friendships and you neglect home. That's not what we want. Mom and dad, you will be able to see on a daily basis through our website what they are doing. Each campus will post activities and pictures on a daily basis. But ultimately, if they don't call home, you call me. The students that I have in the summer program are the best students to work with. They understand rights and responsibilities. They forget sometimes responsibilities because of the age, but that's nothing wrong, nothing bad. That's just the nature of that age, and we all went through that age. And so one summer, knowing that I stayed on campus, I was the campus director a few years back, a father called me on a Sunday and said, Aris, I'm coming to campus because my son Michael has not called home in 10 days and I really don't know what's going on, so I'm going to come and pick him up. And I said, no, just wait. There's not a reason to pick him up. He'll call you. So I spent about half an hour explaining to the father what I was going to do to ensure that Michael called home the next morning at 9 a.m. With all due respect, and the father knew exactly step by step. The next morning, it was a Monday morning, we had our Monday community meetings in the auditorium, and so I came to the microphone and said, Michael, where are you? And Michael, thinking that he had won the biggest award, raised the hand and said, come to the podium, Michael. And Michael rushed to the podium. And when he got here, I said, Michael, have you called home? And he said, yes, Aris, but the line was busy. Michael was lying. Because very few people now remember the times when the lines were truly busy. That's not anymore. But I didn't tell Michael that he was lying. I said, well, Michael, do you want to go home? And he said, no. So, well, your father is coming. Your father is coming. It's right now coming to campus if you don't call him right now. And he said, well, I don't have a cell phone. You know, the students keep the cell phone in the rooms, and we'll talk about it. And I said, well, I'll lend you my cell phone, Michael, quickly here. You're going to call Dad quickly. This is not, and of course, Dad knows exactly what's happening right now. You're going to say three things. Dad, I apologize. Because leaders like yourself, like all of us, when we do something to others that is not good to others, we need to apologize. Apologizing is wonderful. It relieves you from a pressure that you carry on your shoulders. So, Michael, I said, you have to apologize. You have to, number 2, promise Dad that you're going to call more frequently. And 3, you're going to say very clearly, Dad, I love you very much. Michael says, Aris, do I have to say number 3? And I said, because you are complaining, you have to say it twice now. And so the call began, and he said, Dad, apologize, I'll call you more frequently, and, well, Dad, Aris says that I love you. And I said, 3 times. So he quickly said, Dad, I love you, I love you, I love you, bye. But I didn't close Dad's cell phone until Michael went back, and Dad heard the whole community clapping for Michael. Michael was out of trouble. Dad now is happy. Aris can continue doing his Monday and weekly duties in the work, and you know exactly what happened after that meeting. When we finished that meeting, in the next 10 minutes, everybody went to his or her room and called home. Because Michael was not the only one in the same situation. Everybody was. And that's not trouble. Now, trouble, yes, there are circumstances that we will call non-negotiable rules. If you violate one of those rules, we'll cry with you, but you go home, and I don't hesitate to do that. You understand that very well, and you don't, normally, we have had very few cases in the 36 years of the program about that. No alcohol, no drugs of any kind, no motorized vehicle of any kind, no firearms, no intentional destructive behavior, and those things will be spelled to you, but you are wonderful, you understand rights and responsibilities. Now, those are non-negotiable. Violate it, you go home, and we'll cry with you, we'll still be friends. One thing is the friendship, and the other thing is what I have to do. There are rules and regulations for the well-being of the community. And those rules, you may not like them today, but talk to your friends. I said already you cannot bring your computers, but you will have access to computers in your, on your campuses. Keep in mind that we are not opposed to computers, we are not opposed to cell phones. You can bring your cell phone, but you will keep it in your dorm room. The program is a free of charge program. If you think today, I am very serious about this, and I understand that you will understand it also. If you think that you cannot leave at home your little sister called computer, and I say sister because in Spanish, computer is feminine, and you think that you cannot keep your little brother, the telephone, in the room, then you may have to stay with them at home. And I'm, you know, give the opportunity to other students. You are wonderful and you're welcome. But those are the rules for the well-being of the community. It is a free of charge program, and we cannot spend this much money in times of economic crisis. I hope no, like summer, but in these type of times, we cannot spend the money bringing you to do on campus what you already do so beautifully at home. Stay there. Okay? And some of you will have to make that decision. The program is funded 75% by state appropriations. And I have a letter here from, that I received from the state senator of this particular district, Senator Jimmy Higdon. Some of you know Senator Higdon. He could not be here, but he says, he wrote this letter on the 27th of September, sent it to me, and says, greetings to the exceptional students and parents from Nelson County High School, Thomas Nelson High School, Bardstown High School, and Bethlehem High School. I apologize for my absence, but I am grateful to the administrators of GSP for allowing me to share a few words. Nelson County is so blessed to have such a large number of outstanding students who apply for the Governor's Scholars Program. I am amazed every year with the letters and phone calls I receive from students giving me their testimonies on how great GSP is and how it changed their life. They are thrilled with the school they attended. That's the campus. He meant the campus. The quality of the instruction, the outstanding curriculum, fantastic extracurricular activities, and the highly motivated quality students from across the state with whom they share the program. They have even said they did not want to leave and go back home. The camaraderie with fellow students was something they had never experienced. I encourage every one of you to go through the process of applying for the GSP. It is a life experience you will never forget. Parents, please note that scholarships often follow the GSP students. My apologies again for not attending tonight, but I look forward to seeing what you all will accomplish in the years to come. Truly yours, State Senator Jimmy Hickman. He referred to the scholarships. We don't offer scholarships ourselves. The GSP is about 5 weeks in the summer. Once you complete the program, and with your permission, we'll give your names to Kentucky's colleges and universities. If you choose not to go to Kentucky colleges and universities, you're still welcome in the Governor's Scholars Program. You don't have to go to a state or private college in Kentucky, but we are very proud to say that we have kept many of our alums in Kentucky due to the fact that the Kentucky colleges and universities offer you scholarships based on the fact that you complete this program. But that's not the GSP, and don't do this for that. You are well on your way to college anyway. So that's what I have to say. I'm going to recognize you in this way. I'm going to offer you a letter from us because we organized this at the last moment. We have written in the letter the name of your high school. We don't have your names in the letter, but still we have your names here. So the way we're going to do this quickly and in silence, please, young leaders. I'm going to see what Jenny is here. I'm going to bring the 6 students from Bardstown High School on stage. From here, don't come yet. Bardstown High School placed right here in that direction, facing that way. Followed by Thomas Nelson High School. So it's Bardstown High School, followed by Thomas Nelson High School. As much as possible, you can alphabetize yourself, but Thomas Nelson, I am going to call you as you check in today. If you are from Bethlehem, you're going to stand over here, and line up right here. I have 6 students from Bethlehem, followed by the students from Nelson County High School in this direction, facing that, and when you are recognized, you exit in the other direction, you go. Place yourself. Quietly, now. Don't worry about alphabetizing yourself, just place yourself and you walk when your name is called. You don't need to talk because there's no alphabetically. Bethlehem and Nelson County on this side. There's steps over there or here, you can use those steps. Nelson County comes this way also. Oh, I know you. Okay, so you can stay right. And as we call you, keep walking, okay? Mom and Dad, just hold the applause until we recognize the students in the high school. High achieving juniors, from Bardstown High School. If somebody did not check in, I don't have your name, but you can come and tell me what your name is. Remember, the person reading your names is not from Kentucky. Bardstown. Can I have only high achieving juniors from Bardstown. Brianna Dorsey. Jack Downs. I'm going to stay here so I can hold on. Ben is at Holleran. Lily King. Brianna Kinnison. Kristen Rogers. Bardstown High School. High achieving juniors, Thomas Nelson. Some of you will be called in the order you checked in, so don't worry, it's not alphabetically. Hey Jenny, where do I have that list? Oh, I'm sorry, Bethlehem is right next here on my list here, so I'm going to do Bethlehem because that's the one I have to write. High achieving juniors from Bethlehem, but before that, I want to recognize the guidance counselor, whom we rely on the guidance counselors a lot from Bethlehem, Ms. Coons, Rita Coons. Thank you for coming, Rita. Thank you. High achieving juniors from Bethlehem High School. Lucas Clemens. Anna Prescott. Abigail is it right or read? Read. David Rogers. Not here. Mom and Dad, if you're here, you can. Should I come? Make you come this way? Thank you. Mary, is it Mary Sire? John Sims. That is Bethlehem High School. Thomas Nelson High School, and I want to recognize the guidance counselor of Thomas Nelson, Julia Thomas, right here in the front. Thank you so much for coming. Again, you come as you check in, so don't worry, you're all here. There's a long list here. Trevor Tatum. Elliot is a writer? Writer. Amelia Watkins, because I know I checked 2 Amelias today. Amelia Watkins. Abby Pugh. Brianna Gaskell. Danny Killing. Sierra Mesa.
Mom had told me that
I was here. Caitlin Burba. Jennifer, is it Downs? Yes. Your counselor is saying that you have to say yes, sir. Philip Wagner. Is it Wagner? Philip? Haley Kennedy. Meredith Bradford. Ben Hyde. Jonathan O'Berry. Amelia Boone. Everybody keep walking. Everybody keep walking on stage. Right. Thank you. Dallas Cecil. Brianna Dawn. I'm going to go on the other side. Is it China? Oh, I asked that before. That's correct. I speak Spanish, China. China Martin. Lizzie Marksbury. Camila Lozano. Riley Peak. Rebecca Welch. Sebastian Downs. Emily Charles. Dale Sutherly. Miss Gas, is it Edina? Edina? Gas. Thank you. Garrett Hall. Maxwell Dickerson. Thank you. Maxwell's here? Okay. You can pick it up from Jenny if Mom and Dad is here later. Eli Wathen. Eli. Mia, is it Pardieu? Pardieu. It sounds French, Mia. It is French. Thank you. Kaylee, is it Edlin? Jenny. Logan Newton. Oh, Kaylee, you were here. I'm sorry. Logan Newton. Marisa Keith. Clay Cecil. Lily Ramsey. Thomas Nelson High School. Nelson County High School, and I would like to recognize the host institution, the three administrators and counselors that came today to join us, Ms. Tanya Jury, the principal, Ms. Fiona Downey, one of the guidance counselors, and Ms. Michelle Gosser, another guidance counselor, and they are over there. Thank you so much for coming. Nelson County High School. Kate Berry. Thank you. Grayson Bishop. Katie Price. Thank you. Larkin Williams. Larkin, thank you. Nelson County High School. Well, that's all what I have to say. Jenny and I will stay out here to answer any potential questions you may have, and you certainly are welcome to call us with any questions. In our offices, we try to do exactly what we do in the summer, and we answer our telephones. You don't have to dial 10 if you want to have lunch with me, and if you want breakfast, you have to dial 11. No. Those things are in other institutions. But the Governor's Scholars Program is people-oriented, and we will answer your questions. We'll tell you who we are, but we also want you to tell us who you are. I hope to see many of you apply and compete. It is extremely competitive, and so the best applications, it's not only what you have done, it's how you present your information. If we can be of any help, we'll be happy to assist. Thank you for coming tonight, and may all of you be blessed in your lives and endeavors as you continue this fall and beyond your academic path and intellectual path to success. And Mom and Dad, thank you so much for what you have been doing so greatly in the last 16 or 17 years to nurture our best and young leaders. Thank you so much.